Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
Man, it feels great to be a Duck.
Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Their competitors, they'll want to put the O on.
Three. Got it.
We're going to compete to a standard every day.
The Oregon standard.
Rebound. Up and in. 1.4 to go.
The opportunity to play, put Oregon on your chest, should mean a great deal to you.
Unloads on one into left field, back toward the wall. Gone!
This program is staged to compete and to win championships.
Oregon wins!
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, let's talk Oregon athletics.
Welcome inside the Country Financial Studio. Duck Insider is brought to you by On Point Community Credit Union. It is game day here at the University of Oregon for Duck baseball. Pre-game show at 4:45 up against the Portland Pilots at 5 o'clock today. It was supposed to be game day for Oregon softball, but due to inclement weather, those games have been canceled between the Ducks and Portland State. Feel free to exchange your tickets for any future Duck home game. Go to goducks.com/tickets for more information. It's also Athletic Director Tuesday, and we have the head boss here today, Rob Mullens. Rob, thank you so much for being here with us.
Great to be here.
What's going on these days? I mean, it's a busy time of year, 11 days away from the spring game.
No, there's a lot going on. Obviously, when you look at the spring sports and all that happens in the spring, and quite busy. Lots of home events, lots of teams, women's golf teams competing in the Pac-12 championship already. So the spring championships are underway.
Yeah, I want to get to all of those sports, but football. Driver of the operation, spring game is always a great opportunity for the fans to get out and see the team before the team takes the field in the fall. It's a great event every single year.
No, it is, and obviously, what we do with Food for Lane County, the appreciation for military that day, and then it's just a chance for all Ducks to gather. And over the last several years, we've been able to have 30, 40,000 in Otset Stadium to show our team. As well as prospective student athletes, the passion that we have for Oregon football around here. It's a fun day.
Yeah, it really is that extra game day that not a lot of schools get to have. It really does feel like a traditional game day.
Yeah, not at the level that we do. We're very fortunate, and obviously, it's free admission. We ask folks that are coming to bring some food for Lane County. That's a great partner of ours. That day produces a lot of food for those in need in our community. But it is a chance to celebrate, and just so happens this year we also have a baseball game at PK Park right after, and for those years when that schedule aligns, we've tended to fill PK Park, which makes it a great day.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're already seeing PK Park get more and more full even without that day. Maybe a top 10 level attendance crowd at PK Park on the spring game. That could be a goal of ours.
No,
sure.
Absolutely. in fact, I think we could, I think the Oregon State game, we had the 7th largest crowd ever.
Yep.
On that Saturday. So, yeah, our marketing team's done a great job. We had Bark in the Park Saturday with a great crowd. And no, it would be fun to have, 40, 45,000 at the spring game and see a large sea of those folks move over to PK Park and, like you said, maybe get a top 10, top 5 crowd all time at PK Park, because there's a lot on the line for Oregon baseball as we come down the stretch here, particularly given the fact that we beat Stanford, a top 10 team, 2 out of 3 last weekend.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. By the way, 3879, the attendance number for the game against Oregon State. Let's make that our goal to beat that for April 29th, just 11 days away. Also on the spring game, pretty cool deal this year. A couple of guest coaches going to be on the sideline.
Yeah, very recognizable, actually, and happen to share a number. 2 great former Ducks. And, I think that's, there's a lot of things to see at a spring game. One, it's fun to get back together with all your tailgate friends. seatmates, but also there's a lot of new faces. With the transfer portal now, the roster turnover with graduation, you're going to see a lot of new faces. And you get a first look at that. And then you have the fun elements, like we mentioned, the Food for Lane County support, the military appreciation, and then, you have game captains like Javon Holland and Marcus Mariota.
Well, look over your left shoulder at the portrait. I mean, we don't bring that in for just any interview. That's why he's here today. That's going to be great to see with Mariota and Holland on the sideline. It's also an event that can kind of help springboard the department and the fans into the fall if you're looking at ticket sales available right now.
No, absolutely. Again, I think it's a way, that's why as many programs have gone to charging for spring games, as you start to see that as these games start to happen, we have kept it free because we want to say thank you to the fans. We want that access. We want that kind of that festival atmosphere. You've seen the programming that we've done around it from a marketing standpoint. With last year we had Common Kings down on the practice field post game, which people really, really enjoyed. And there'll be some other elements this year. And again, we want people moving to PK Park to really impact the baseball game.
That's right. I'm excited. Also, looking ahead beyond the spring sports, the surplus sale, I wanted to give you an opportunity to shout out the entire equipment operation here at the University of Oregon.
Yeah, listen, it takes a lot to run a program of this size, and the great work that our equipment staff does, all the way from managing our relationship with Nike and Beaverton and working with all our programs. They play a key part in helping us fulfill that student athlete experience. They're here plenty of nights. They're here plenty on weekends. They are standing out there in the elements every single day, supporting our student athletes, and they do a phenomenal job. And this is kind of an annual tradition now to help us create space for the new equipment that arrives. And it's also a great way, to provide some unique opportunities for our fans.
May 6th, the surplus sale. I know perennially it's like one of the favorites for the fan base to be able to get out there.
It's quite a sight to see. Folks come in and it's kind of like Christmas in May. There's lots of smiles as people come in.
Christmas in May. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully the weather's a little bit better. But before break, quickly on Oregon men's basketball. I feel like we're getting some momentum going in the off season, especially when you have the big fella and Folly Dante coming back.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, and Folly's been a great member of our program, and to have somebody like that from a leadership standpoint to anchor the 2023-24 team, great young man. Obviously, you can see once he got healthy, the growth that he had. He's a phenomenal young man. He's a great player. And that kind of experience can, provide you what you need to springboard to a great season.
Yeah, it's the style of play for me. The heart that he plays with, the fact that he does it on both ends of the floor. Another season of that. I mean, that could be very fruitful.
No, and I mean, I think the fans gravitate towards him, right? He's been here for 4 years. He always has a smile on his face. Even when he's not able to be in the game, he's having an impact from a leadership standpoint on the bench, engaging with the crowd. He's just really fun to be around, and he's a joy to watch play.
Yeah, momentum in the offseason for Dana Altman and the Ducks. Well, it is the spring. We got a lot of spring sports to talk about, including Coach Lombardi and Coach Wasikowski's teams. That's coming up after this break. We have Rob Mullens here in the studio with us. Duck Insider coming back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
To your children's eyes to see the true magic of a forest. It's a storybook world for them. You look and see a tree. They see the wrinkled face of a wizard with arms outstretched to the sky. They see treasure in pebbles. They see a windy path that could lead to adventure. And they see you, their fearless guide through this fascinating world.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Okay, welcome back to the Country Financial Studio. Duck Insider brought to you by On Point Community Credit Union. Jordan Brenner and Rob Mullens, the athletic director for the Ducks, joining you on a Tuesday afternoon. We got to get through a lot of programs here. The spring is busy, Rob. I want to start with baseball, though.
Yeah.
I mean, a historic weekend. You take 2 out of 3 from a top 10 team. The pitching, though, in particular, boy, that was fun to watch for the fans.
It was fun, when you have a native Oregonian and Jace, stacking on great starts upon great starts. To have a 3-hit shutout against the number 7 team in the country. What a great game in an hour and 57 minutes. That was efficient work. And then to back it up on Saturday and to have Logan, perform so well, to get back-to-back complete games with incredible showings. And really, when you even back it up further, those, we had a good midweek win where a couple of wins where everybody, you got to see some guys who haven't been playing a bunch. And obviously it spring-sported Bryce Betcher into a starting role on the weekend. Yeah. So, it was a great week. And now all of a sudden, you start to look at the weekends that softball and baseball had. As we come down the stretch, you get into this conversation because in those sports, I think fans will remember, the top 16 teams get to host the regionals.
Right.
Huge advantage.
And we start talking about coming down the stretch. This is the time that you want your club to start playing the best. And there are early signs that for both Coach Lombardi's team and Coach Wazakowski's team, boy, they're putting it together at the right time.
No, they are. They both have played really strong schedules. I think Oregon baseball has a top, 7 strength of schedule, RPI 14th.
Right.
Softball's done the same thing. And, both teams have had, some injuries that they've had to figure out. And now that you've got the lineups, you got the rhythm, they, like you said, Jordan, they are playing their best at the right time.
Yeah, I wanted to talk more about Duck baseball because I feel like if we're zooming out on the program, you see a lot of momentum. And a part of that is, you're starting to see Ducks at the major league level doing it on the biggest stage. That to me is a big part of it.
No, it is, and then again, you kind of build this foundation, and you just keep adding to it. And Coach Waz has done a phenomenal job. First when he was an assistant here, and now at the head coaching job. And for those that were able to go to the kind of the season kickoff luncheon that he hosted and had, the likes of Tyler Anderson and David Peterson, and Scott McGuff, and Jake Reed. Congratulations to Jake and Janie on the birth of their first child. All back, then you can just start to see how this Duck family comes together, and like you said, it just builds incredible momentum.
Yeah, take fans inside that event. I think
it was phenomenal.
It really a lot of credit does go to Mark Wasikowski for trying to bridge the past to the present.
No, he did. He really wanted to bridge the past to the present in the sport of baseball at Oregon. Bring together the modern versus the original. And I mean, listen, that was a heavy lift for Waz while he's trying to prepare his team for the season to get on the phone and the number of phone calls to bring back so many greats and to create a program that was compelling to get the number of people there and celebrate Oregon baseball, because that's what it really was about, and locking arms and going forward. And, he deserves a lot of credit for the vision, but equal amount of credit for the amount of time and energy that he put into making it just a phenomenal event. And, special thanks to friend of the program, Harold Reynolds, for kind of being the keynote speaker. It was just a great celebration of Oregon baseball.
Yeah, it's cool to, on any given day you're walking around PK Park and there's Harold Reynolds firing up the guys, which is a lot of fun. I think you're right. The execution of that has been great, and there's some new banners that are recognizing the history of Duck baseball around PK Park. It's really been a department-wide success story building out this baseball program because, hey, when the product on the field is good enough to get to Omaha here in the near future, it's nice to see that backed up with recognition of where this program came from.
Yeah, and Coach Waz is willing to engage. Obviously, this is a fantastic baseball community. And when you tie in the history and tradition, and you do things like marketing did this weekend with Bark in the Park, and a number of other things, kind of the Sunday stroll. There's a lot of programs, that are in place, and we've seen great crowds. When the weather, is nice, we have seen an impact. That pit crew section at PK Park has been phenomenal this year.
Yeah,
makes a big difference. So it's been fun. There's a new energy at PK Park. It started last year with the turf, moving the fence in, kind of the rebranding. And we've seen that momentum carry on to this year.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like we were going to get that with the COVID season. It got caught short. And I think now we're starting to see the community and the fan base respond in a big way.
Without question. And like you said, the play on the field has been phenomenal. It's good to see the fans embrace that and be out there to support these young men. And April 29th, let's blow it out.
That's right. Top 5 crowd, hopefully, in PK Park history, April 29th. Hey, how about softball, too? A sweep on the road in Tempe. Traditionally, not a very easy place to play either.
No, really difficult place to play. And, we went into the weekend basically tied with Arizona State. And to go on the road the way that we did and win, 3 really tough battles. This league in both of those sports, baseball and softball, is as good as any league in the country. And when you can go on the road and sweep, that speaks volumes to your team, the leadership. And so now, again, it sets us up. If you can start stacking a few of those great weekends together, then you get yourself in a conversation that you want to be in, and that's a home field advantage in that first round.
Yeah, and a fun series coming up with Arizona as well. 3 games at Jane Sanders Stadium Friday at 7:30. Hope to see you there. How about some of the other spring sports going on right now? Tennis and golf and acro. It's a busy season.
It is a busy season. Women's golf is in the second round of the Pac-12 championship round, trying to defend their Pac-12 championship. Men's golf just had an incredible finish at the Western Collegiate, one of the top collegiate golf tournaments. So Casey has his team poised to hit the Pac-12 tournament coming up with them. Women's tennis celebrated, kind of the senior weekend. We're able to play outside on Friday, which was great. Beautiful day. And then inside on Sunday. Hats off to Courtney and that team. They've been battling through a lot, but had a fun senior day celebration. Women's lacrosse had a senior weekend as well with a big win over Arizona State. So a lot going on. Acro getting ready to head to their championship back in West Virginia. I believe that's next week. So, a lot going on. Fun time of year.
It's amazing that you just got your finger on all of it. It's really impressive. So, we go through all the programs. What else should fans know? What else is on your desk this time of year?
We get to, this is the time of year, kind of the end of the year. The leagues have their spring meetings, so that's when you're, doing a lot of review of the previous year and doing some planning going in to the next year. So, we work closely with our coaches, because the way kind of the legislation process works, it usually starts with coaches groups, then comes to the administrative group, and then you kind of weed out what goes on that you want to champion going forward. So late April, early May, we'll be doing a lot of that work. And then, after that, after we get through the championship seasons, we'll, start to do some of that ourselves.
Yeah, and then before you know it, we're going to be getting ready for the fall again.
It's amazing how fast it happens.
Yeah. Well, Rob Mullens, the athletic director here at the University of Oregon, really appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. Look forward to seeing folks out at Pape, PK, Jane. Let's fill Jane Sanders this weekend. It's a big series, and let's go support our young women.
I love it. Well, let's come back. Dan Lanning just got off the practice field. His thoughts on Duck football. After this break, you're listening to Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4 or haul fun with a Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
Dear Sharp Turns, Toyota has more all-wheel drive sedans than any other brand. Get a grip in the stylish Camry, the elegant Crown, the striking new Prius, or the sharp Corolla. Get to Toyota.com already. Toyota, let's go places.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt US Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is an important message from the Mine Safety and Health Administration. Mining fatalities, accidents, and injuries are preventable. Taking a minute to approach your task safely can protect you and your fellow miners from injury and death. Staying alert and focused can keep you safe. Do it safe, do it right. Whether buckling a seatbelt or securing equipment, these quick safety measures can prevent injuries and fatalities. Take time, save lives. For more resources, visit MSHA.gov.
Back here on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network. Always appreciate the time from the athletic director, Rob Mullens. Good stuff. And how about the show today? You go from Rob Mullens to Dan Lanning. That's pretty good stuff. Just got off the practice field talking Duck football in the spring. Coach Lanning.
A good situational day from a football standpoint. We worked some 4-minute get the ball back scenarios there at the end, a little bit of 2-minute coming back. Had a really lively competition, really went back and forth. Saw some big plays down the field from offense today. Saw some big stops on third down in our third down competition. But overall, really competitive practice. I think it was a good day for us to get better.
How in-depth of conversation do you have with players after scrimmage, like on Saturday, about where they kind of are on the depth chart and where they are going forward?
We're going to talk a lot about depth chart. We talk about how do we get better, right? That's what we really focus on, right? And how do you get better to where you can be the kind of player that can play for us and operate for us day in and day out on a Saturday. But we go to the doctor. We do it right up just like we would in a normal game. We review the film. We have corrections. So all those things are the same.
Is that something you do throughout the week, or is there kind of a set time after Saturdays, after scrimmages that you do?
Yeah, we covered it all on Monday, right? And then we figure out what we got to do going forward in the next practices. What do we still need to work on? What do we need to improve on?
What were the deep dives on the scrimmage? What that result in for you guys? What did you find out?
I mean, there's a lot of pieces, right? I think we got a lot of football players that can play. I think we're have more depth, especially defensively right now, have more depth than we did last year. Overall, got the ability to have a lot of guys that can have success. Need to continue to coach the fundamentals, right, when it comes to ball security or attacking the ball, both sides of that, and just playing ball.
What are you hoping to do, obviously, differently, or what are you hoping to incorporate differently this week into a second scrimmage? What are you looking for results-wise in the second scrimmage that are different maybe than last week?
Yeah, we'll just incorporate a couple more situations, right? Try to create the game before the game. Talking about scenarios about when it's right to go down as a runner inbounds as opposed to out of bounds. Situational football like that.
You mentioned on Saturday with Terrence out that there'd be guys capable of filling in at tight end. Has anybody actually started doing that on a day-to-day basis in practice, and can you share any of those names?
Yeah, a few people, right? Like Mateo's a guy that's had history. Shipley is a little dinged up right now, but he's a guy that's been able to flip over to the other side. We also got guys like Connerly that lined up at tight end last year in a game. So I think we got a lot of guys that have some versatility there, but certainly a position that we have a need for and have our eyes open for it.
With Jamal, working a couple different positions here, you mentioned his versatility. What about him made him a kind of fit there, and what have you seen from him when he's at the second level so far this spring?
Yeah, smart player, tries really hard and plays really hard. I think that shows up consistently, the effort that he plays with, can take information, use it to figure out what he needs to do better the next time, and then just plays with a level of intensity. I think he has a lot of respect from his peers.
Last year we saw Jordan James have mostly a role in that 14J package, those short yardage packages, but he kind of started to expand that late in the Oregon State game and the bowl game. How have you seen that continue to expand this offseason?
Yeah, I think Jordan's a complete running back. I think he can do all things, and we want to challenge him to continue to do more.
Inside backer, we bring in Connor and Justin, and now it's almost 10 practices in. Just where do they start to fit for you? What are you starting to see from them in terms of upside and what you saw from film, and what are they translating here versus what they need to work on?
Yeah, those guys are just working really hard. I think we got a really good competitive group that works well, meshes well together. Both those guys are productive players. I think we have a lot more special teams value in those positions this year than we have last year. We want starters to be able to play on special teams for us. But those guys just ultimately, they work really hard, right? And they're starting to reap, the benefits, the fruits of their labor.
To that point, I don't think we've asked you much about the return game. I'm not sure how much live punting and kicking you've done, but is anyone starting to pop there for either the kick or punt return?
Yeah, a lot of returner action. I think we have several guys on our team that can go back there and be returners right now. Still trying to find some more consistency now at the punting position. We've had some guys that are hemmed up a little bit, but I think we have good experience there with Boyle and Cam and different guys that have kicked. But continue to compete at punt and figure out where we're at there.
Overall, you talked this year that defense is kind of taking a step in the second year. Have you seen that happen with special teams a little bit as well?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I think comfortability in the scheme, but ultimately a lot of times it comes to, one person's performance on each play, and we want to find some more consistency on those plays.
You mentioned putting more starters on there, Dan, and again, to casual observers, they'd say, well, how come you just didn't do that before? But part of it was something that, especially last season, just you didn't want to risk things for certain guys, and just, we talk about depth, that depth enables you to do that with some guys, where putting some starters on there is maybe not a great idea last season at times.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately you got to have guys that want to go out there and compete and be great for their team and do that for their team. And when you have great competition, you have a lot of guys that can play. You have more guys that can play special teams.
We haven't talked a lot about him, but what have you seen from Johnny Cornelius through these 10 practices so far?
Yeah, I think he's playing faster and faster every day as he gets more acclimated. Obviously Coach Terry's doing a great job coaching him. Really excited about his demeanor on the field, and as he continues to pick things up, I think he has got a chance to be really successful.
J.J. Greenfield, Broadway, we go back to the Holiday Bowl. He was finishing off and running with the twos quite a bit, and productive guy by the end of the season for you. What has he brought so far this spring, and as he kind of progresses?
Yeah, he's kind of a Swiss Army knife. He can play a lot of positions, both safety positions with his star position. Again, a guy that can do things on special teams as well. So, appreciate how he's worked.
How are things looking behind Bo, Nick's backups? How's the improvement there, or how's it going?
Yeah, Ty had a really good day today. I thought today was probably Ty's most impressive practice so far this spring. Thought he did a lot of really good things out there operating as a quarterback. Austin's continued to come along there, but continue to create more competition at that position.
You've got a couple of true freshmen at deep safety, and kind of the further away you are from the ball. I don't know if you ascribe to the idea that the further away you are, theoretically the faster you could play or acclimate. What have you seen from Cody and Tyler, and their ability to acclimate quickly, potentially at deep safety.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that statement. I mean, I think they have a lot more checks and a lot more adjustments than a 3 technique has, right? So ultimately, both those guys are working really hard. They do a really good job. So far, I've been impressed with them. Want to go back and watch practice today and see how they did, but I saw a couple good hits. They're both willing tacklers. Certainly are willing to put their face in the fan.
What are your thoughts of the portal window this spring, Dan? Guys are going to go in and out all over the country, but in terms of just the timing, because it probably helps more the semester schools who are wrapped up already versus quarter schools that still have a week or 2 to go. And I realize some of that's choice, but what are your thoughts of just the timing of this as opposed to if it was in May or not having a spring window at all? Or
Yeah, I'd rather it be now than May. I mean, ultimately in May, you're going to be on the road as a coach, recruiting. So it's not like you can be here, to hosting and being at home, checking on house. So we're here. The portal's, it's here, it exists. So we're going to adapt and adjust to it. But I think we're doing as good a job as anybody when it comes to that.
How do you feel like the overall team speed's improved since you arrived last spring?
Yeah, I think we're faster. I think we're bigger. I think we're stronger. I think that's, really credit to our weight room staff, Coach Love, Jaws, really that whole group in there. Shad, Coach Tupou. I mean, we just got a bunch of guys, Coach Davis, that have done a great job in the off-season training. And then we do a good job of monitoring it, too, and making sure we continue to hit high speeds.
Is there anybody who's kind of caught your eye in that sense, who's substantially just appears more athletic than they were last year?
I don't know that I'd say that. Tez hit a deep ball today, and he wasn't here with us last year, but he obviously has some real speed, which is nice to see out there on the field. Appreciate it.
There's Coach Lanning off the practice field. That one was real fresh. That was from today. Now, this past Saturday, the media got a chance to catch up with the kicker, Camden Lewis, who is always one of my favorite interviews. I like hearing from the kickers. They have an interesting perspective. Camden Lewis certainly had that, and here he is.
How's your swing?
Good. Wait, field goal or
Either one. I'm trying to figure out if I should be recording this or not.
the swing is actually in great shape. Off the camera, yeah, it's in great shape. I'm playing pretty well right now. The special speed, it's like our bonding time. You know what I mean? It's like our time to kind of go out and get our minds off football. Go be competitive in another environment, which I think is huge for just our mental state. So
you're kind of the better end of the group. You got a lot of young guys, a lot of new guys. How do you kind of facilitate that off the field bonding time with everyone?
I try to organize stuff as much as possible. A lot of us live closer together now, which is nice. We got the freshmen over there, like the Chase, and then the guys at Ducks. We're all kind of in the same area, so we can hang out a lot. Watching different sporting events on the weekends and things like that. And then golf really is the thing we're doing. And I'm just trying to teach these guys the things I wish I knew when I was their age, because there's things that take years of experience. There's things that an 18-year-old doesn't come here knowing, or isn't able to go out there, perform mentally the way they want to, because they haven't matured yet. They don't know, you know what I mean? So I'm just trying to get those guys started on the kind of stuff that's helped me as early as possible, so that they're ready when their time comes.
What have you seen? I know Grant, it sounds like, it's kind of dinged up right now. Dan has said a couple times. Is he seem like a willing learner? And I don't know if you've seen him kick too much because of the injury, but what have you seen from him?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, he's just a natural. There's guys who, and there's a reason he was the number 1 kicker in the country. He's got that natural, strong leg speed, the things that just come with, being a great kicker. So this offseason we got to work a ton. So he's been healthy. He's fine. Probably he's not really injured. He's doing good.
Okay,
yeah, he's fine. He kicked today. He's hitting the ball well though, and I'm just trying to. It's not like he can't make a ball go through the yellow post. You know what I mean? That's things I've talked about a lot. As a freshman, I had no trouble kicking a ball, but when he goes out there in a game day, how are you going to perform? And I want to make sure he's ready for that.
How was he today, then?
Good. He's hitting the ball well. There's obviously some things I want to clean up with his little mechanics and things, just to get a little more distance, a little more power. But he's got it in him. He's going to be a good kicker.
As a veteran kicker, are you kind of a pseudo position coach almost, or an extension of that with some of the younger guys, just because you've been through this a long time? I know you said in the past you guys spend so much time kind of in groups together.
I would definitely say so. I mean, in coaching kickers is something I want to go into after football. I want to be able to give back, the knowledge that I've gained, and even through the recruiting process, things like that. I want to teach people, what it takes to get to this level and perform well at this level. But yeah, I would almost consider myself kind of like our kicking coach, as much as I can be. I'm not a great punting coach, but the mentality is the same. I can coach the mentality the same in any position, really. But Yeah, like you talk about like Coach Lloyd, like he knows a lot about kicking, but he's a scheme coach. Like they coach the scheme. That's what they're experts on. So I try to take over as much as I can the role of teaching guys how to kick a football.
You were so good last year. Where are you focusing on right now to get better at? Is it just honing in on the things that you're really good, or are there areas you're specifically trying to target right now?
I mean, there's obviously little swing changes you can make. Same thing as golf. I can get better. I can get more distance out of my kicks. Like I can get Coach Lanning's confidence to kick a 55-yard field goal up, things like that. Like I want Coach Lanning to see, those kicks in practice, traveling further, going higher, better rotation. You can always get better. There's things Justin Tucker's still working on. You know what I mean?
Any impressions of Luke Dunn so far?
Yeah, the kid's a natural. Like he's got a huge leg. All those guys coming from, I don't know what they're feeding those kids, but they just boot the ball. Ross too, like we got two really natural punchers that I think have a ton of potential. And once they lock in that mental stuff, like I think we're going to be really good there.
Any thoughts on the Jake facility out at UV?
The what?
Jake, the new golf facility out at Emmett Valley. You seen the drops of any of those?
Yeah, I hope I get an invite out there. I'm trying to. Yeah, I got some buddies in the golf team, so I'm hoping I can get a few texts when that thing's over. Yeah.
That was going to be my next question. Do you guys interact with, you guys talk about golf all the time. Do you interact with people on the golf team? Are you good friends with them?
Yeah. The mentality of golf and kicking is very similar. I mean, just like any sport. I got a couple buddies on the team who I've taken classes with and gone out to play with. I think playing with good golfers makes me a better golfer too. It's obviously that's what people say. But yeah, I try to get out there as much and even learn from those guys. What are you saying in your head before you swing? Like what are your little triggers? Like what makes you perform to your best of your ability? Like that'll help me kick. So for sure.
Some changes in terms of the personnel that would be snapping and holding the ball for you, and that's been something that shifted a little bit over the last couple of years, just with some players out, but no Carson out there. What's it kind of been like? And have you guys done enough live kicking where you guys have kind of gotten confident in that?
Fortunately, Luke Basso got a lot of reps last year. So I'm really, really confident with Luke. And then we brought in two other snappers who are really good. They're really talented guys. They're going to push Luke even more. But having a snapper here who had that experience last year, some of the field goals I kicked last year, Luke snapped. He snapped like almost half of our PATs. He's got that game experience. So if he wins the job, then I'm going to have a ton of confidence in him. And then Ross James and Luke Dunn have been holding. Those guys are both getting really good. So that'll be a battle there. But they both are performing really well in practice.
Maybe I've asked you this before. Why is the punter a logical option to be the holder? Is it just because you guys are close and that's kind of a chemistry thing? Yeah,
you can't ask the quarterback in the middle of practice to go practice holding. Yeah. You could, but they're going to say no. So it's really like we have so much time. It's something else for us to work on and become experts at. Like during practice, we're on another field, like we need something to do at that time. And it's like, why not become an expert holder? And now I have a ton of confidence because I see this guy do it over and over and over again. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just that time we have to work on it, really.
Camden Lewis talking about a whole myriad of topics. Give me the golf content. Thank you, Camden Lewis. Maybe, I'd like to see how his game is. Good kicker. I'm sure he's a good golfer. It's all about that coordination. Still ahead, Oregon baseball news, Oregon softball news, talk some alley bunker. Yeah, good stuff coming on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
This is Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Farming is dangerous. There's dangers all around us.
We go through safety training and try and do these things to make sure accidents don't happen.
You don't want to hit a gas pipe because that's your life. The other part of it is if you hit certain things, you're liable for it.
Farm Safe 811 starts with you. Always call 811 and wait for any underground lines to be marked.
Always keep safety in the back of your mind. Just stay humble.
For more information, go to farmsafe811.org.
Question: what will you find on all over-the-counter or OTC medicine packages to help you choose the right drug and use it safely? The answer: the drug facts label. This label lists the medicine's active ingredients and purpose, how much to take, and warnings you should know before using it. Remember, even OTC medicines you buy without a prescription can cause side effects you don't want. So follow the information listed on the drug facts label. For more information, visit fda.gov/drug facts label. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Welcome back to Duck Insider here on the Oregon Sports Network. Jordan Brenner filling in for Joey Mack. He's actually now on his way to Portland for tonight's baseball game with the Portland Pilots on the road. We'll look ahead to that game in a second, but first want to shout out Allie Bunker. Some tremendous news for Oregon softball's second baseman. Selected 16th overall by the USSSA Pride in the 2023 Women's Professional Fast Pitch Draft held on Monday. Huntington Beach native, the fourth pick in the fourth round, and was one of the first 5 Pac-12 players chosen on Monday. Bunker, of course, everybody knows how good she is. She leads the Ducks right now with a 391 average, slugging close to 700 this year. Team best 40 runs batted in. Is that really true? Team best 40 runs batted in, Ryan? Yeah, really good. Sabine Ceballos, I think, has exactly 40 runs batted in for Duck baseball to lead the team. How about that for a nugget? Well, we're focused on Allie Bunker now, though. A great piece of news for her, and that's exciting. By the way, Oregon softball supposed to be in action tonight with the doubleheader, and that has been rained out. So a cancellation. Tickets can be transferred over to another game, and you can get more information at goducks.com/tickets. Big series coming up for Duck softball this weekend against Arizona. Road trip starting tonight for Oregon Duck baseball on the road against a very good Portland team, a program that has been steadily getting better and better and better, which actually you like to see if you're Oregon because that helps boost your RPI if you can play those types of teams in the midweek. All-time, Oregon holds a 108-39 edge in the series, 29-11 advantage when games are played in Portland. The Ducks are 5-1 against the Pilots in the Mark Wasikowski era. The Ducks swept the 2-game series last year, and, they beat them already this year as well. This is a critical moment in time for Duck baseball. You take 2 out of 3 against a top 10 Stanford team. How do you build that momentum? So you play again today against Portland, this weekend on the road against the California Golden Bears, which is never an easy place to play. You know, the game against Cal on the road counts the exact same as a Friday night game against Stanford. So momentum, trying to sustain that for sure. Duck baseball coming up tonight, and you can listen to Joey Mack on the call from Portland. It's supposed to be a little rainy. Wind usually comes in from the outfield. It will probably be hard to hit a home run tonight, which maybe means it could be a Riku Nishida small ball type of game. Looking forward to listening to Joey and following that one tonight. Jordan James just got off the practice field. Freshman running back bursting onto the scene last year. Heading into year 2, spring football. Jordan James.
What's it been like being out west? And obviously it's different from where you're from, but just experiences being in Oregon.
Yeah, I'm originally from the South, so it's like kind of a culture shock coming out here to Eugene, but it's pretty cool so far. It's different weather, different environment, but I like my teammates, the guys I'm out here with, so they make up for all that.
What did you take away from your first year? Obviously, kind of probably unique to be involved in a specific package like that, and most of your snaps are there, but how do you build off of what you did last year, I guess?
Yeah, just learning from last year, looking at the guys ahead of me, Bucky and Noah, just seeing what they do and, taking it day by day, step by step.
What do those guys do that make them maybe good mentors or good people to follow?
It's just the way they come to work. They come to work every day. Whether it's being here early, being here late, they just come to work.
Your recruiting process last year, you're one of the big early wins for this coaching staff flipping from Georgia. What was that like for you, kind of deciding to come out here? And I don't know if you specifically followed Dan out here, but just that decision process for you, what was that like?
It had a lot to do with Coach Locke. I wanted to be coached by the best running back coach in the game, so that's all it is right there.
What is it about him that is just so enticing that you want to play for?
It's just the way it's just the backs he's produced already. So he's produced a lot of great backs in the league. The way he pours into people, he's big on relationships. So that was a big factor too.
When did you first? Because he was in Memphis for a really long time. When did you meet him and kind of get to know him, and what was that process like?
I actually got to know him when he was at Florida State. So he offered me at Florida State, and I built a relationship with him there. And he kind of hit me up a little bit when he was at Western Kentucky, but not really. Then he came back on the scene when he got back to Oregon.
So that was, what, 2.5 years ago maybe, something like that?
Something like that.
Okay. And how are you kind of feeling like you're fitting with this group? And I guess this year it's a little different. Some guys left, some new guys have come in, but kind of what's the feel and your fit with this group?
I feel like I fit in pretty well. We try to play as one, so we just try to play off each other. One guy's rolling, let him roll, you feel me? Just like that.
What have you seen from this new offensive line group? Obviously last year such a veteran group, had a lot of success. What do you see from these guys this year?
They're some big dudes, there's some good dudes they can play. And, we gotta get some stuff together, but we're gonna be all right.
How about the two young running backs? What do you? It's weird to ask you because you're also a young guy, but the two true freshmen that just got here, what do you make of those two guys?
No, they're great players. They're good players, and they're gonna be super good to use in the future.
Did you know Dante at all? I know he's just from the Southeast.
Yeah, actually, I didn't know Dante that well, for real. But he's a funny dude. Dante's a clown in my room. He's funny.
So last year being in the the 14J package, what do you have to show to the fan base now that your role is kind of growing more? What do you hope that fans kind of know you for as more than just a goal line runner?
Just that I can do it all. I can catch out the backfield, I can base downs, short yardage, anything. So.
You like being more in an open field, or you kind of like just putting your head down and run through the line?
I'm comfortable in any situation. So yeah.
Not asking for any secrets, but do you think there's going to be kind of a 14J, something like that this year? I know the offensive coordinator who ran it last year is not here. Is that something you expect?
We'll probably have something like that, similar, building off of it. So.
It's Jordan James. To be a freshman running back and to have the impact that he had last year, that was impressive. Now, can his role grow moving forward? I think we could see that for Jordan James moving forward. It is a stacked running back room, but good to hear from him during spring ball time for development. It's a huge week for Oregon women's golf. They are currently in action at the Pac-12 Championships. Round 1 completed yesterday, and, well, the Ducks battled to finish even par with a 288 as a club yesterday. That was good for tied for 4th, so they were in position yesterday to go on a little bit of a run. You saw good rounds from Brianna Chacon, who shot a 71, which was a 1-under, and the Ducks notched their 7th par or better round of the season. Tied for 4th with Cal, still behind teams like Stanford, USC, and Arizona. And, in position. Got to get hot to make a run here. Arizona on the course today has started to really separate. They're 7 under as a team, but USC is within striking distance. Stanford is within striking distance, and the Ducks have started to get the birdies to fall today. They're 3 under for the day and putting themselves in position. And technically, they've moved up the leaderboard because they're no longer tied for 4th. They are alone in 4th place, and it's looking like a 4-team race down the stretch, heading forward in the Pac-12 Championships. Postseason golf, exciting time of year. The Ducks are defending their title, which they won last year. Still more to come on Duck Insider. We are going back to spring football with some more interviews after this break. We're coming back to the Country Financial Studio on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Unused prescription opioid pain medicines can spell trouble. They can spell risk if taken by someone they weren't prescribed for, harm if accidentally taken by a child or pet, or overdose if they're not used as directed. Safely dispose of opioids before they can hurt your family. Find a drug take-back option such as medicine drop boxes. You may find these in your community at local pharmacies or police stations. Visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Back here inside the Country Financial Studio, Duck Insider is brought to you by On Point Community Credit Union. I'm Jordan Brenner. Spring football. Next up, Keon Ware-Hudson, a defensive tackle who the analytics nerds really like. Pro Football Focus graded him as fourth best as a Duck defender. Now, what does that mean? I don't know, but he had a big game against Arizona. He recorded a fumble in that game, was dominant against the Buffaloes last year, making one start last year. I think he's due for a big season. Here's what he had to say off the practice field today, Keon Ware-Hudson.
Keon Ware-Hudson. So I know after practice you kind of get hungry. What's going to be your favorite meal to go to after this?
Probably corned beef and rice.
Oh.
I feel like that fills me up the best after.
What's the spring been like for you? Obviously, you were kind of on the shelf last spring and didn't get really a full kind of off-season preparation. Is it just better in that sense, obviously?
It feels a whole lot different. Like you were saying, last year I didn't really get the whole spring and the whole workout before spring. So I feel like this year I took it to an advantage and, really worked on my body, worked on, being able to move better and shit. So I felt like coming into the spring, I felt a lot better.
All you guys last year, is you, Popo, Dorless. Does it just feel like there's a little bit better sense of continuity right now than there was a year ago?
Yeah, there definitely is. I feel like we the older guys in the room, so not having us out there on the field last spring was, it was rough, but, we had Taki and Swad there, so they was there to, keep the groom up.
This room now, you guys get a bunch of returning starters.
Right.
Just where do you feel like how talented do you feel like this room is going into the season?
I feel like we're really talented. Like you said, we had one of the old guys, the vets in the room, and I feel like everyone in that room knows what we need and what we want to achieve this year. So I feel like everything, we have the younger guys look up to us like Ben right here. So, we try to set a standard in there.
What was your biggest focus going into the offseason? What part of your game did you feel like you really wanted to improve?
I felt like my run game, I try to critique it a little bit, focus on my steps, not to try to overstride on things. And, my pass rush too. I try to work on pass rush during the offseason.
How was it working with guys like Brandon Dorless, Taki? What do they taught you, especially in the offseason this spring? What it's been like working with them?
Two good guys that you named, because Taki's good to run, be able to stop the run. And Brandon, obviously, the pass rush guy. So, BD be showing me some moves and stuff, and I usually try to take it and implement it to my game. Taki be telling me play with a bigger base and stuff. So.
The new faces on the offensive line that you're going against, just what have you seen from them so far as well?
I feel like they got some good dudes in there. I feel like they was lacking depth, and I felt like they got the right dudes. AJ, who you got, George as well. I haven't seen Junior yet, but everyone that's in that room, I feel like it added a plus to that offensive line.
Coming off after this first scrimmage, just what are you looking to improve upon going into the second one this weekend?
Just be able to show more effort. I feel like having more of a relentless effort, running to the ball and breaking the stack. So.
I believe Terry talked about how he hypes you guys up before going against his group. What are those conversations like? What did he tell you guys?
That's my dog. Since 2019, we always been in contact. So he always try to hype us up, telling his O-line that we're talking trash or something. So get them fired up. But, it's always a good time talking to him.
What was it like hearing that he was coming back as a full-time offensive line coach?
Oh, it was great news. He hit us up before. He was saying, my boys, I'm back in the city. So we was all excited for him. And, it's well-earned for him.
What have your impressions of Jordan Burch been so far?
A freak athlete. I feel like he's able to do everything, stop the run, pass rush, whatever you need.
Doing the interview.
I feel like he could go inside. And everything. So use his athleticism to play all over the D-line and stuff.
That's kind of the first thing that everybody says, just freak athlete. Does he remind you of anybody in that sense?
I see more like a Jadeveon Clowney. I feel like he's able to go, move inside, play outside and all of that, be able to drop back as well. So,
What are your expectations for this season? What are your goals?
My personal goals or
all the above?
I'm gonna just go with team goal. I feel like we definitely want to bring Pac-12 championship, and further on going deeper in the postseason and stuff. I felt like we have the group to do it, and then our connection is real strong. So I felt like we're getting there, but it's going to take time and build steps up there.
You working still on the inside? Is there any change to where you're lining up this
I'm
spring?
basically moving all over. We have some packages where the big guys will go outside and use their strength and get off and stuff. But, yeah, basically all over the line.
What's it like for you lining up on the outside using that strength?
I feel like I'm a big athletic dude, so be able to go out there and show my athleticism.
Is that all you guys kind of position swapping, or is it exclusive to you? We've heard May say he's kind of playing.
We all be positioning swapping and everything. I feel like everyone in the room could be able to do both sides. So, yeah.
That's Keon Ware-Hudson. Good show today. Duck Insider. We had Rob Mullens. We had Dan Lanning. Appreciate the entire crew. We're back tomorrow, hopefully breaking down a Duck baseball victory against Portland. Thanks, everybody. Go Ducks. Talk to you tomorrow.
Are you thinking about buying medicine online? A search for online pharmacies yields more than 20 million results. But which ones can you trust? Medicines bought from unlicensed online pharmacies can be dangerous. You may get a fake drug, your condition may get worse, or you may experience a bad reaction. Don't put your health at risk. To learn how to find an online pharmacy